What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, Redemption Agency.com, 21 years selling on eBay. And we are going to, today, we're going to do a recap of the week. How much sold, how much money, top 5 items. Got a huge lot of items that sold that I got for free that I can show you and talk to you about. And how have sales been? Well, yesterday was pretty good. Overnight, it looks like it was shut off about 12. And we are at 8:45. And nothing has sold except the offers I have taken this morning. So since 12 o'clock, I've had nothing actually straight out sell. But I had a lot of payments paid, which includes half of the big order. They bought the other half last night. So we will get into that. So yesterday, I had done $500 by noon, and then it just started, going downhill. But thankfully, I made it to a little over $1,000. I think that half of that order was $70 yesterday of that, so not much, but so at least I made it over 1,000, so that is good. Good. And then items yesterday was 69 items. The organic seemed to be off. 15 organic, 54 promoted. So a 78-22 split. A little off there. This morning, it's probably going to change. It says organic 24, promoted 2. But being the ones yesterday that this person bought were promoted, I'm guessing that's probably going to change midday because it's counting them as organic today. And as we all know, since they changed it, if a shopper comes back in your store within 30 days, it's automatically going to be marked as promoted when they buy something, which is BS and should be illegal somehow, but it's not my site. But so we'll see if that ends up flipping once they charge me, because it's showing 24 organic, 2 promoted. And since the other half of that order was paid this morning, I am now at $214 at 8:46. So this big order is kind of pushed up a little bit in the money, so that's good. And that's what I kind of count on with all this different merchandise, is that looks like an actual straight sale. I don't remember taking an offer for that. So that one looked like a straight sale. But having all this different merchandise, having the bulk orders is what I used to do so much of, and it's kind of slowed down within the past couple of years. So I'm hoping as the site gets better, that all those bulk orders will really start coming back. And I did have a few here that I've got to ship out, which is better than some days. So let's get into the last week and how sales were. So we are going there and there. Generate report. All right. So for the past week, we did $7,017 in sales, up 14%. Very nice. Net sales, $4,787, up 13%. My selling costs came in at 25% of my sales. So I like to keep it, it's set up for 33 or lower. So having it 22 to 25 is where I like it. So number of items sold, 483 items, up 1.7%. Average sale price per item, $14.50, up 12%. So I was definitely trying to get that back up near the 15 mark. So that is good. Let's see. One-time buyers, 380, down 4%. Repeat buyers, 11, dead even on that. See, this day's not... Yeah, that should count for part of those. Okay, that still only counts as one. All right, we are into the top 5 items for the week. And wow, that's surprising. Brand new entry at number 5. And I'm trying, oh, I know why. The Bose system. That's why it's pulled in at number 5. Consumer electronics. $315, $316 rounded, up 100%. So like 280 of that or whatever, 290 of that was one system. So that's why that's number 5. So nice to have that big sale this week. So I count on those big sales here and there to really elevate business. So it's nice to see some of those bigger sales starting to come in like the big lot here. So number 4, is it moving up a spot or is it the same? I'm not sure. I don't remember. And that is Major League Baseball items, aka mostly Cardinals. $335 this past week, up 4.7%. So good to see that going back up. Number 3, as always, cassette tapes. Cassette tapes this week, $812, up 23%. I'm liking seeing these green up buttons, up arrows. Number 2, as always, music CDs. $1,236 in CDs this week, up almost 24%. Boom. And number 1, as always, hats. $1,552. So $1,552 in hats, up 2.3%. CDs are closing in on hats. So, honorable mention number 5, or number 6. Not quite making it into the countdown is other formats of music, which are 8-track cassettes for me. And that's $299 in 8-track cassettes, up 268%. So, and that was, I think, that one repeat buyer. He's come back like 4 times and bought mostly country, but threw in some, I think, some easy listening stuff also. And I got one more stack up there ready to go of country-ish. So I'm going to put that up today and see if he comes back again today. So what I've been trying to do is just do a little bit at each day where I do my 10, 10, 10 type of thing, like I talked about in the video. So we'll get those up today, see if he comes back in, grab some of those, and maybe some more that's already in the store like he has been doing. So it's good to see. All right. So beautiful week, except for the one day, well, technically 2 days, which were flat, where I made it only into the 600s. But hey, average across the board is up, so I'm happy with that. As a whole, for the last 30 days, I'm still down 3.4%. So hopefully, but if you could see my graph, you see it a lot higher now and a lot more steady at near the $1,000 line, whereas before I was more at the 500 line when all those issues, constant issues, So now at least I'm hovering more at the $1,000 line. So that's where I like to be. That's where I know the store can be when things are working properly. So it's good to see where I think things should be is still pretty much in line when things are working properly. So good to see. Now, if we can just get it working 100% of the time, boink, or at least 98% of the time would be awesome. I know nothing is 100%, but at least give me 95. Is that asking for too much? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all those paid emails. Make sure nothing else is in between there. I got kind of a topic to talk about just because of a comment left. And I see people making videos about it. So I figure I might as well talk about it. Today it might make a good thumbnail if I can find a creative way to do it. All right. Let's see some comments before we get into this Friday shipping. All right. The month of May really blew. There are 11 days without sales. Wish they would give the store feedback for those days. I have heard that if you can really pull out the issues and jot them down when they happen, call in. People have been getting some refunds on a monthly store, their monthly store rate because of the issues. So I know that is happening, but what they presented to the reps or whatever, I'm not 100% sure about. So I would say when stuff happens, like server errors and system failures and stuff, take notes. Put the date, the time, everything in there. Have good notes. With like anything in life, if you have good notes, whether you're going to court or you're trying to get your monthly feedback, having good notes is going to make it more credible to your story. So my net worth for the month was under $1,000. I wish they would hire people to update and upgrade their system instead of putting money into such stupid things as photos and feedback. I think they're doing both. But why things like photos and feedback, why? I'm not sure. Not many people even look at feedback anymore. And if you're going to do something for feedback, what I would suggest, and I've always said this, after at least 90 days, if somebody hasn't left feedback, it should be marked as a positive. I don't even leave feedback for buyers, for people I buy from. I don't. I forget. I don't even think about it. Feedback to me is no big deal. Feedback is like I don't even pay attention to feedback. I don't. If I want something and the pictures look legit and stuff, I'm going to buy it. I'm covered. If something happens, no big deal. Give me my money back. So I don't even look at feedback or sweat at feedback. So it's almost like a gone by thing, you know? So if you're going to do something, it should benefit everybody. And being that 1/3 or less of your customers leave feedback, after at least 90 days, you should get marked as a positive. Because then the numbers are really going to show true. You know, I would know I'd be sitting at 100% all the time if that happened, just based on percentages alone. So, I think I need to stop commenting on YouTube videos. Seems like there may be reading comments and then not showing items. Conspiracy theories, I know. I don't think they're doing that. After that big lawsuit and stuff they went through, I honestly don't think that anybody in the company is, hopefully, not that ignorant anymore about stuff like that. Yesterday I almost got freaking T-boned. I went to the gas station. My car is dirty. So I went to a gas station that has a car wash, got the code, went back to the car wash. Somebody's in there working on it. I'm like, great. I have to check back today. So as I'm going out of the gas station, I see the light is green. So I'm like, okay, and I'm like a good amount away. So I speed up to make sure I make the green light. So it was green for a good while because I thought I was going to miss it. But totally green, get out in there, and here comes the car. Whoa, runs that red light. And it's been red for a while because, like I said, I thought I was going to miss the green. And thankfully, I was able to slam on the brakes and he missed me. But if somebody was sitting in my passenger side, I probably would not have seen them, and it wouldn't have been pretty. So I noticed the same thing. I'm selling far more items in my immediate area and neighboring states, but very little outside of the area. Been talking about that to some friends. They've noticed it as well. Man, when I'm tired and it's late and I need to list, I just turn on your new video and play you in the background. Help spurs me on. Good. Now get to work. Get to listing. Make me that money. Come on. Can you explain how you ship internationally if you opted out of the eBay International? Yes, you just make up business policies and ship worldwide. That's the easiest way. Go into policies, make up a business policy for your shipping. So, probably easier said than I'm explaining it. And I probably need a video to really show you guys if you don't know. So talking about it probably wouldn't do any help. But if you go into business policies, shipping policies, you can create policies. And then you can create a policy for, I create it by item, basically, weight of item. So my media has one policy all its own. CDs, cassettes, DVDs, all one policy. For US, it's like $3.99 shipping. For Canada, I think it's $9.99. And for international, it's $12.99, right? Maybe off $1 here or there, but so that is my business policy, and it's titled media. So then whenever I put up a CD or cassette or DVD, I use that business policy for my shipping. And then I do other things by weight. I have one called small toy box, and that's pretty much anything that goes first class, basically. That can be a hat, a t-shirt, a small action figure, any lighter, smaller items, basically. I do have one called hat and one called t-shirt, but I could combine all those into one because they're all about the same weight if I wanted to. Then I have one called mid-size toy, and I use those for like some of the lighter women's shoes, maybe some of the smaller purses, maybe a little bit heavier, like a polo t-shirt or something like that, a polo shirt. Then I have large toy, which is more for the heavier item used for mugs. And that's about $10 US. So anything that would cost me about $10 to ship, I put in that. And then I have my shoe policy, which is about $12.99 shipping. So anything that would cost about that, I use that shipping policy for. So it's all broken down by the weight of things, but you got to kind of know what things will cost, and that takes time and experience of learning, or just putting on the scale, type in an address, and see for yourself. That's the best way. That's the way I started. I noticed my returns were not automatically relisted. They just vanish. Well, when they relist it, though, it doesn't go in at the top of newly listed items. When it goes in as a relist, it goes back to the same area within your eBay. So if you're just looking at newly listed, it's not going to show up there. Type it in and see if it comes up. If you don't do that, you probably already do, but just making a point, it doesn't show up under newly listed. It's going to be deep within the bowels of your store where it was originally when it's relisted. Sell Similar puts it at new listings at the top. Do now I know how things are going missing. I guess do now I know how things are going. Plus it is free to relist after a return correct. Yeah, if you're not searching to find it, search and find it, and it's probably there. But who knows about glitches? We know there's glitches, so. Old items I am selling similar eventually. Somehow have no shipping attached. So obviously, yeah, I noticed that the other day. One of my items had no shipping at all. It was actually one of my drafts. And it showed no shipping at all. My drafts for, I think, cassette singles or something. The shipping totally was vanished on it. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I had to go back into my draft template and put shipping back in. So, yeah, definitely something in that area is a little wonky. Horrible sales day for me yesterday. Zilch. Over 3,300 items in my store, no sales, and also had server errors. But my husband and son both had a sale each, and both have very few items and don't even have a store. How do you keep track of all your listed inventory on the shelves to make sure that they are still actually listed on eBay? Do you ever find eBay randomly removes your listings over time or for no reason? That does happen, but there are also other reasons, like that last comment about returns. If it's not being relisted in the store, so that sometimes can happen. Or if somebody buys it, doesn't pay, and you forget to file, or the eBay files it, the non-paying bidder by itself, but then you forget to go back in and relist it, that could happen. So there's a bunch of very, very, reasons, legitimate reasons why things may be delisted. And then for me, I've got a lot of stuff that I've ended over time before I had like so many free items to list. I would delist a lot of older stuff so I wouldn't get charged a lot of extra money. So there is stuff on my shelves that is not listed, and I am slowly, I slowly go through. I take totes and stuff upstairs, and when I'm getting ready to fill it and top it off, I'll go through it and pull out anything that's not listed. So, all right, let's get into firing these bad boys up. These shipping labels, shipping services. All right, let that. Why does this always pop back up when I click off the page? Happy to hear the constant cha-ching in the background going off for you. Sounds like a good sales hour. It's kind of stopped now, hasn't it? We have nothing since I deleted them. So we were at 2:31. Yeah, we're at 2:31 at 9 o'clock. Something does feel off this morning, so hopefully it'll click back on. So it's been kind of off since 12 midnight. We're at 9 o'clock now. So that's not good. Not so good at all. So I think the topic I want to talk about is, I wish all these rich people would stop invoking their rich privilege on my videos and telling me to stop stealing from the poor. Stop invoking your rich privilege on me. I ain't stealing from the poor. I am poor. I'm poor in a Porsche. I'm Paul in a posh. Don't be coming around here with your rich privilege. I don't know who you think you are, but if you're not going to pay my bills, you need to shut the hell up. That's what I'm talking about. This is America. America. On a serious note, though, we'll get into that. First up, we've got St. Joseph Academy hat sold for $10.50, headed to Brockwell, Arkansas. Brockwell, Arkansas. But so I've seen a lot of people making videos about that subject, or at least titles or thumbnails. I don't actually watch the videos, but and then the other day somebody commented that on one of my shorts, I think it was. One of my plush shorts. I'm just like, take your rich privilege on, okay? No, I don't need more labels. See, I feel people who say that, they have no idea of how a thrift, they probably never even walked into a thrift store, right? Next up, we got, are you ready for a hat lot? Yeah. We've got a Mizzou hat lot. Okay, I said two. I thought it said two for some reason. So we got 3 Missouri Tigers hats. Sold for $28.30. Headed to Nevada, Missouri. So they got a cool orange and camouflage one. Got a cool black and white. And then we got a cool black and white little camel speck thingy hat. So $28. Headed to Nevada, Missouri. But man, oh, chick. Where did I put the tape box? I guess not. It's stuck together. It's stuck together. Put that right there. But because they clearly don't know how thrift stores work. You could take 30, 40, 50 resellers, walk through a thrift store, they all buy stuff to resell, and you would not even notice they were there. If you were just going in to shop for a shirt, a pants, tie, a toy, you wouldn't even know they were there. America is flooded with so much access to excess. How about that? Which is beautiful in my book. People complain about it, but hey, it makes a living for a lot of us. And show me a thrift store anymore that caters to poor people. Most, especially like Goodwills, they cater to reselling. They don't cater to poor people. If they did, they wouldn't put $300 on something that's because they saw it on eBay for $300. They would ask $30 for it if they were catering to a poor person. So don't come at resellers with your BS, because you clearly don't know how thrift stores are run, first off. Second off, if you knew how much stuff was trashed, recycled, and stuff at a thrift store, you clearly wouldn't open your mouth. So stop invoking your rich privilege on me. Go back to your plush life, where you're probably living off your parents' inheritance, if you're not still living in their house. Next up, we've got Nashville Scene from October 14th, 1999. I guess it's almost like the Riverfront Times here in St. Louis. CD duplications. Special 26 CDs for $91. 100 CDs for $299. Let's see. Spiritual Solutions. Come visit Religious Science of Nashville. Get paid to surf the web. Nice. Cable TV descramblers. Yes. I need one of those in 2023. Nashville Import Services. European and Japanese expert service repair. Feng Shui workshop and adult art classes. Ooh, adult art classes. I bet you there's some nakedness in there. Ooh, that could be exciting. Need a rubber stamp? Not really. Need a killer band? Christmas parties? Weddings? Call me. You wonder if that person even got any response. Need a killer band for Christmas parties or weddings? Really? You don't even have the name of your band? Come on now. Wonder Cave Bed and Breakfast. Wonder if that's still around. 80 miles from Nashville, near Montego Mountain. Ooh, that sounds pretty. Montego Mountain. I need to check that out. Okay. Will you fit in there? No, you will not. I'm going to have to get a 7 for him. Do I got easy access to a 7? I need a 7. Give me a 7. I take a 7. Give me a 7. This is a 7. A nice big 7. Ta-da! Make sure you're not listening. Okay, we got 13. So this sold for $7, headed back to Nashville, heading home. 13.1. You're heading home. Next up, we got Buffalo Brewing, St. Louis, Missouri. Sold for $10.50, headed to Bernie, California. Bernie, California. All the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. And somebody else says his name or something like that. So if you're dreaming about California, it don't matter at all where you bank before. California, I don't know the words. California's a brand new game. I haven't heard that song since I was a kid. Don't remember that. That was like one of them country groups or something, like Oak Ridge Boys or something. All right, we'll skip Brandon's order so I can put all that together at the end here. Since I think I'm going to have to scan a barcode over like 14 times. All righty. Next up, we've got In God We Trust, in Him We Must Succeed. He is the answer. Striper, if you don't know Striper. In God We Trust that. So for $10.50, headed to Lincoln, Nebraska. Striper. Whose best album is Against the Law. one that has nothing to do with religion, and rocks. Straight up kills loot. Stop failing communication. Oh, so we did get one on sale. That's awesome. One of my Jordan shoe racks sold for $20. Actually, that was a counter offer I sent. No, they sent an offer I declined. They sent a new offer I accepted. So that was like a 2-day-old offer. So still, since 12 o'clock, we've only actually sold one item. That's not a good feeling. I mean, even though I'm going to be at like $250, $261, those were all offer related and such, and past payments or past offers or solds. Next up, we've got Sammy Kershaw 45. Sold for $350. Headed to St. Augustine, Florida. I need your mailer. All right. I think I found starts tomorrow at 8 o'clock, a neighborhood sale. So I'm going to make myself go get some video footage. All right, next because it's not too far away. I just haven't been wanting to go over like out of the area. I like look around my area when I go to the post office, take the long way home or something, look for signs, but don't see no signs. But I did notice this. I believe it's tomorrow. Gotta double check. My Chemical Romance CD. Sold for $5. Headed to Lincoln, Nebraska. Did I just send something to Lincoln, Nebraska? I don't know. Yeah, so that's what I would say. Like, I think that's what I'm going to use from now on. Anybody says, stop stealing from the poor. Stop invoking your rich privilege on me, please. And then leave it at that. I think it'd be funny. And if I think it's funny, that's all that matters. All right, Henry Horton Tramp and Skeet hat. Sold for $7. Headed to Carson City, Michigan. Carson City, Michigan. Get over there, mister. Or you can put just something like, if you want to respond to people like that, put something like, you clearly don't know how thrift stores are run. So take your rich privilege elsewhere. Take your rich privilege back to Rodale Drive, please. I don't need any of that around here. On Martin Luther King Drive. Was it Chris Rock, I think, made the joke? No matter where you go in the United States, you go to Martin Luther King Drive, it's going to be a bad neighborhood. My dad's company, Koken, who makes the barber chairs and stuff you see on like Pawn Stars and stuff, he was a carpenter there, and he drove the truck to install beauty salons and barber shops. He used to do the installs. And it was on Martin Luther King Drive. So I know that a lot of the Martin Luther King Drive strip in St. Louis. Well, cha-ching. That might be an actual sale too. So that could be 2 sales since midnight. All right, we got a Fila B&P Paribus Open sun hat. Sold for $10.50, headed to North Little Rock, Arkansas. They used to be the Koken manufacturer. When I was smaller, it used to be on North Broadway, just north of South downtown St. Louis. And I remember it being a cool building. As a kid, you know, the whole thing is brick, and it has brick walls, and you had to drive down this thing down into the parking lot area, but it almost like a fort, you know, as a kid. Like, oh, this is cool. But another thing I remember about that building, the old building, was, and I don't remember it happening because I guess it happened before I was born or when I was very small, because my brother was 15 years older than me. My dad had got my brother working at the factory. And apparently there was a fire or something, and the sprinkler system went off, but the water ended up being hot and burnt my brother, and I think 80 or 90% of his body was burned from the hot water. And I'm guessing he got a settlement out of it, but I'm guessing he didn't get much at the time because he was always kind of struggling for money. Unless he just blew it all, because I remember him having a nice Dodge Challenger back in the day. So maybe he spent it on something like that. So that could have been, because I would say that was probably in the late 70s. And if he had a nice 1970 Challenger, it probably would have cost, probably at the time, if he got a bad lawyer, probably what he would have got as a settlement. If I think about it. I never asked her. Never even thought to ask, actually. He probably wouldn't have told anyway. He was always very kind of secretive when it came to stuff like that, for some reason. Twista Emotions. Cassette sold for $4.50, headed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's why I don't even know a lot about my mom and dad's background, because they just never talked about it and wouldn't really answer you if you asked questions. I mean, I know my mom was in an orphanage till she was 19, and then they let her go, basically. I know that she was put in there, I think, in her teenage years, because her mother, from what I understand, I think there was, 7 kids, 8 kids? I don't know. I know she was in there with at least one of her brothers, I know, Bill, who had passed away before her. Before her. Was it before? I don't know. Maybe it was after. Yeah, I think it was after. So I know that. I know her previous marriage, she was abused, and the last thing she did to get out of it was throw a butcher knife at her husband. And then my mom had now, as I'm getting older, I've got notes on what I do know. So my mom had 5 total kids or 7 total kids. I think it was 5. And me and my sister were, my older brother was a half brother on from my dad. And before my mom's old marriage, she had, I'm remembering, I know 3, because I finally found one after my mom died, the daughter. I found her on Facebook, and she knew how to contact one of my brothers, half brothers, but he's not on Facebook. But we don't really interact. We did at first, and telling her, if you got any questions about, your biological mother let me know and stuff like that, you know, things like that. But and I know because she put them up, my mom put her kids up for adoption when she got out of that abusive relationship. See, I don't remember if me and my sister was 5, 6, and 7, or if we were 4 and 5. I can't believe I can't remember that all of a sudden. I want to say we were 4 and 5. But I know there was so much that went on as a kid that like memories would come back to me and I would ask about, and they wouldn't even give me a time of day on an answer. Like the one time my mom was in the hospital, I remember being snuck in by my brother to see my mom, but I was never told why she was in the hospital. And when I asked, I wouldn't get an answer. And then there was a time where my mom went down to DuQuoin, Illinois at my aunt's house and stayed for several weeks. Just got up and left and stayed. And my mom's the one that would watch us, raise us, get us up in the mornings, etc. And here we are with my dad. And honestly, I don't remember anything from that time period except the fact that my mom wasn't there. I don't remember how we got up to go to school because my dad would have to leave for work at like 5 a.m. or whatever. So I don't remember how we got up and went to school and stuff. All I remember is my mom wasn't there for a couple of weeks. I never got an answer as to why. And maybe it was to protect me as a kid because they were having marital issues. You know, that's the obvious thing. But Loverboy 8-track sold for $7. Headed to Chichester, New Hampshire. Chichester, New Hampshire. And then my brother was always wanted to be secretive too. Like my brother would always, like, the one time I paid for a trip for him to come with us to Branson, go to Silver Dollar City and stuff. And he didn't want nobody to know. He didn't want his picture taken and it getting back to anybody in his town that he went there and stuff. Because I guess he didn't want to make it look like he had money or had the opportunity. Not that he had money because we paid for it, but that he actually, I don't know. I couldn't understand why. He was always kind of just low key, and he always had his poor jokes and how he don't have money and stuff like that. So I didn't know if he felt he had a persona to keep, and if he was in Branson at Silver Dollar City, it would have kind of ruined the persona that he didn't have anything. I don't know. That's the way I kind of felt, but I never got a clear answer. It's weird. Always weird. I think that's one reason why I'm open about everything, because my mom and dad and even brother was just so tight-lipped about everything. And it aggravates me not having answers to things, right? So that's why I will say anything about everything, because the one thing about parents is you learn the good and the bad, right? And the bad, I've always tried to make sure that I'm the opposite. So you always, if you can learn in that aspect, it's all good parenting if you know what to take as the bad and to flip it, know what not to do type of thing. We've got a Buffalo postcard sold for $7, headed to Elliott City, Maryland. And this is from July 23rd, 1969. And that was my stomach. Got a nice George Washington stamp there. So, So this is sent to a Miss Stella, I can't read the last name, in Florissant, Missouri. But when she says dear and the name, she uses the last name of the person. That's weird. Like somebody would say dear Helferstay to me. Like, what? Why would you say dear Helferstay? Why not dear James? And that'll make more sense as I get farther into this. Why they would use that makes it more weird. But they say, we haven't seen any buffalo yet, but we keep looking. I walked 1 1/4 miles around Devil's Tower on a foot trail today. I was so tired. You are tired after 1 mile? What's up with you? I slept all the way to Sheridan, I guess, hotel. When we got to the motel, Dad and I went swimming, and we are going again now. So Dad and I, but you type the last name instead of signing it Mom and Dad, you sign it Greg, and I can't read the other name. So it's like weird. It's like unpersonal, but personal. Very odd. Then people back in 1969 are weird. Anyway. All right. What am I going to put this in? Do I put in one of those and put in one of those? I'll just put it into a DVD case like I always do. Since I haven't looked to see if postcards are on the eBay thing, I need to do that so I can switch it over. I'd probably sell more at a cheaper shipping price. Maybe I'll try to remember to do that this weekend. Since I have the envelopes now, I need to stop slacking. Next up, we've got a Youth Under Armour hat. Sold for $8, headed to Hermitage, Tennessee. I want to say thank you guys to you guys who actually watched yesterday's videos. For some reason, I guess me changing the... See, if I don't do something that hooks people with a thumbnail or the title, only you guys, the my regular viewers, watch those videos. So that was like one of my lowest videos yesterday because I didn't really use any grab or what's the word? Clickbait type of feel for it. So it kind of went dead. So I want to thank you guys who actually watch my videos, no matter how they're titled or how they're thumbnailed. I appreciate that. Next up, we've got, are you ready for a visor light? Brett Brook, guessing that's a golf course, maybe, and Like Cola visor. Both together sold for $18, headed to Peoria, Illinois. And I'm going to need a bigger box for those. Will that work for those? Ooh, they just might. But the width won't. Thinking of a box for this big old lot real quick. Stop failing communications. Next up, we've got 32 items. 11, 12. So let me count these, make sure I got them all here, because I didn't go one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Dagnabbit. Now I got to go through them one by one. Because apparently these probably sold and never got relisted somehow or something. So now we got to go through them. It's going to be a pain. All right. So I'll do that off camera, but we'll go ahead and I'll show you what we sold. So I sold 32 of these magazines that I get for free. Spent a total of, not counting the shipping, $160. So $160. And so when I worked in a music store, at the time I got these magazines, it was Blockbuster Music. Actually, Blockbuster Music Plus. So we'd get all the business type magazines. So these were for video games. So we got all these business games. There's two different styles, Game Business and Game Week. So Blockbuster Moles US PC Rentals. Do you believe that Blockbuster turned down to buy Netflix at the beginning? That was probably one of their worst moves ever. Could you imagine Netflix being Blockbuster nowadays? But, you know, we got Crash Bandicoot right there. So these would just get thrown away at the store. So being they were video games, and I collected video game stuff, I brought them all home. As you can see, Blockbuster, 8857 Ladue Road, so St. Louis, Missouri. So Sony shows its hands. So yeah, so saving all these, sold them all together. He goes, "Will you take $6 for them all if I buy them all?" I said, "Sure." And he sends me offers for $5 on each one. I'm like, "Really? You said 6 and now you're coming at me 5. I'm like, "Fine." I took them all at 5 and charged them $1 a piece for shipping, plus like $5 for the first one and $1 for each additional. So technically $6. So we got all these different ones. I got to go through here and make sure I get the right 32. Or what I'll do is maybe I'm just going to search and make sure I don't have any of these listed anymore. That'll probably be the easiest way, go backwards. And if I do, I'll just send them all of them as a courtesy. If I have any listed, I'll just end them and just send them to them for free for buying all of them. Then I'd save me a lot of time. So that's what I'll do. Xbox Team. So yeah. So all these cool. Here's a Game Week one. Game Week. And they would just talk about what's new coming out, or like talk to CEOs, or they would have like the top games, like Game Week Interactive Top 30, November 1998, Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo 64, average retail price $57. WCW NWO Revenge for the Nintendo 64, number 2, average price $60. Number 3, Crash Bandicoot Warped, Part 3. For the PlayStation, average $40. So, Game Week Top 20 Video Game Manufacturers based on dollars sold. So, November 1998, number 1 is Nintendo. Number 2 is Sony. 3 is Electronic Arts. 4 is THQ. It goes on and on and on. So pretty cool. Top 10 PlayStation titles for November 1998. Crash Bandicoot 3, number 1. Metal Gear Solid, number 2. Number 3 is Tomb Raider 3. And top 10 Nintendo 64s, Legend of Zelda, WCW and WO Revenge, GoldenEye. Everybody loves GoldenEye. First person type of shooting. So, very cool stuff if you're into video games. So I'm glad I kept all that. But these were free. And these are the type of stuff, if you see at the bins, grab them. Grab them by the buttload. Took forever to sell. $5 a piece, but they bought them all. Spent $160. So, you know. This stuff I'll always grab no matter what. If I can get it free and cheap. At the bins, it's only like, what, a quarter an inch or something like that for books. So at least that's what it was. So, yeah. So, that's it. So, I'm going to make sure I don't have any of these listed. And get them taken down if I do, and just give them all of them. Save me some time. Looking at those little bitty pictures on eBay, going through one by one, going, is that the right one? Or searching for the date. I think this is it. Oh, it looks like the cover. No, thank you. We'll do it the easy way. But it won't fit thickness-wise in a priority box. Well, maybe if I stuff it, it might. Probably not. There's no way. There's no way that's going to fit. 1 minute. Maybe if I flip-flop them, they will. Put one half, since the spine is the thickest, with the other half over. Oh, it would be so tight. I think it's just a tad bit too tight. All right, United States. So we got game week. He left one game week, so we'll end that. And what was the other one? Game business. Games business. $6 hat. That looked like an offer. All right, that's done. And games business. Video games business. He left none of those, so. Let's type in game magazine. Make sure I don't see any. I don't, so I'm just going to send them all to him. All right. Boom. And those are going Glencoe, Illinois, wherever that may be. So, all right. So we are at $9.46, not quite 10, and I'm still at $277. So, or right. I don't remember the last number I was at. Sorry. All right, I think that's it. What does it say? I think a Karen called eBay, complains she ain't getting no sales. Okay. All right. So thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. If you're going yard selling, hope you guys get some good scores. I'm going to make myself go tomorrow and at least get a video up. So I tried doing bike riding videos. For some reason, my chest kept turning the phone on and off, so I didn't get a good bike riding video done yet. So maybe I need to loosen up my my banded bracket thingy bobber, so it doesn't beat against my strong burly chest while I'm bike riding. But so I'll try to get should be able to get a video done this weekend for yard sales. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate all the likes, subscribes, and all that good stuff. And I will see you all in the next video. Later.